unlike the book, there was a part two because obviously money and other reason was you just can't simply fit an ending of a series in one movie, especially when it wasn't set up the best. And it just makes it so people that wanted to see these movies in theaters didn't have to sit and watch a 4 hour movie. I think it was a smart decision to make them a two-parter. Anyways, some characters die, other characters don't do shit, and then they die, and then stuff like that. Snape has literally two scenes in this movie, which is crazy because he still has, an amazing performance. Harry shows up, talks shit to him, has a fight with McGonagall. In the next scene, Voldemort's like, yeah, well, I need to kill you, and he kills him. And that's all we get of Snape, besides the obviously flashbacks. Which, his backstory is, I guess, kind of sad, but it's a bit weird when you think about it. Like, oh, yeah, he's a good guy because he's in love with a woman. Like, okay. You're saying if he didn't, love Harry's mom, he could have been a bad guy? Or what? Lavender Brown dies in this movie. It doesn't really matter. Fred dies in this movie. It's not really mentioned. Ramus and his wife die. Hagrid isn't even in this movie until they randomly throw him in. Like, Voldemort does this shit like X-Men Apocalypse, where Apocalypse tries to talk to everybody with Charles's brain and his powers and whatever, and Voldemort is like, hey, I'll let you bury your dead, and Harry needs to come to the forest, or I'm gonna kill more wizards. And then Harry goes to the forest, and Hagrid's kidnapped. Like, they killed all those wizards, but for some reason, Hagrid's a hostage for them. They didn't kill him. The fucking 7-foot giant, they were able to capture him instead of killing him, which would have been much easier. Obviously, Krabby isn't in this movie because of a lot of bad things he did. He grew weed when it was illegal, possession of a knife, straight up terrorism. He wasn't in the previous movie, but I didn't mention it because he didn't really need to be. They weren't at Hogwarts at all. But yeah, he's Goyle's in this one. He has a few lines and he tries to murder Hermione. And Draco's the evil one, bro. Like, he's the one that's supposed to work for Voldemort, but he's over here saying Avada Kedavra. As soon as he gets a chance, then he accidentally sets the place on fire and fucking gets killed. Which is insane. He was in the series from the first movie all the way to the end just to have like 2 or 3 lines in this movie and then die. And Krabby's replacement's this black kid named Zoboni, I think. He has no lines, and surprisingly enough, he survives. But I'm pretty sure he's never in the movie again after Harry and them save him and Draco. So I don't know why they couldn't have just kept the dude alive that's been in the series for, the entire series when it's the final movie. It's not like they're going to have to pay him more for later installments. I don't get why they killed him. Just have an impactful death. wasn't really impactful, and you've had plenty of deaths in this movie. Once again, Harry and Ginny kiss like once, and they show how unimportant she is by the end of the movie, where all the people are, grown up or whatever. Harry and Ron, Hermione, they all have lines, and Ginny is just there. Even as an adult, she's not important. Still don't understand why that whole thing even happened. Neville admits he has a crush on Luna Lovegood for some reason in this movie. Don't think that was in the books. But I guess that happens. Seamus has a few lines. Dean's here. He didn't die. So my prediction was wrong, and Kingsley Shacklebolt is also still alive. He survived the Ministry of Magic thing. Molly also has no lines in this movie besides one, and that's where she calls Bellatrix Lestrange a bitch for trying to attack Ginny. And it is still one of the most iconic moments in the series. So, it's pretty cool. It was definitely forced, though, with the Hagrid stuff. When he was just, shoved in near the end. He didn't even really do anything. There's no reason to add him in the movie. Ginny also gets one of the so-called important lines where, Hagrid's carrying Harry's supposedly dead body. And then, she's like, oh, who is it, Dad? Who is it? Who's Hagrid carrying? And then Voldemort's like, Harry Potter's dead. And she goes, no. Like, okay, bitch, you've kissed him like maybe twice. And there's been like no chemistry whatsoever. Why couldn't they have gave it to Hermione or Ron, bro? No, give it to her. They have so much chemistry throughout the 8 movies that they could have tried to develop it in, but they didn't. They also randomly throw Ron and Hermione together in this movie. Because for some reason they didn't do it in the previous movie or any of the other movies. Ron and Hermione get together off screen. Like, I don't know when it happened. They just get together, and then Ron and Hermione, we find out by Ron getting pissed off at Draco, and he says, leave my girlfriend alone, or whatever, and that's like their one throwaway line to tell you that they're dating now, because they don't kiss or do anything they wouldn't normally do. It's very lazy. Ron also does parcel tongue, which is weird. So you're telling me anybody can do parcel tongue as long as they remember it? That's so weird. Why did they act like it was a big deal that Harry could do it then? Ron says he can do it because he hears Harry talk in his sleep. Like, okay. So anybody can do it. Neville could do it if he just listened to Harry. Cool, I guess. I do actually really like this movie, though. Out of all the Harry Potter movies, this one, Prisoner of Azkaban, and Goblet of Fire are really the only ones that I would probably ever rewatch if I do decide to rewatch these movies, though I doubt it. Because they're just not my thing. Not anymore, anyway. They used to be. Anyways. Voldemort's... Oh, actually, Hermione gets, like, somewhat tortured by Bellatrix Lestrange in, like, the other movie, part 1. And even writes, like, mud blood on her arm. basically, wizard slayer. And like one of our first scenes, major scenes with Hermione anyway, is her having to dress up as the person that tortured her. That's just, ugh. And then, I don't remember if it was Harry or Ron, but one of them used a spell that lets them, like, control this person and let them take them to the vault or whatever. Which I'm pretty sure was an unforgivable curse. Which could get them sent to Azkaban. And you think, well, maybe he used it at least for a good reason. No. He's a superhero, right? He's doing it for the greater good. Well, yeah, he does do it for the greater good, but the person he's controlling gets fucking killed while he's being controlled. And they play it off for laughs. It's crazy. Like, well, at least we still have him, and then he gets fucking killed by a dragon. Because he was not in the right state of mind because of the spell they used on him. This movie's definitely something else. But yeah, that's about it.